Got 3 blocks this week for the Midnight Moon quilt along. Yay, bonus block! Hey, this is Carrie with Canary Quilts, and this is week 6. Yeah, week 6, because this was week 5's bonus block. Week 6 of the Midnight Moon quilt along. This is a quilt along that is utilizing Moda Midnight Magic 2 fabrics and the Summer Moon pattern by Carrie Nelson. The pattern is made up of sampler blocks. So this week, these are the 2 blocks that we are working on, which this is the Crown of Thorns and this is Birds in the Air. And then last week we had a bonus block by April Rosenthal, who designed the fabrics. So this is the Batty Bat bonus block. It's really simple to put together. I show you here a couple of the things that I did, how to get this straight line here. The pattern isn't correct for this section, so I show you how I do it. Other people are doing it differently, but I show you how I make the little ears here. So it's not too hard, and it's a really fun block to do, and you can either incorporate it into the quilt along, or you can make a pot holder out of it, or you can make a whole bunch and make a quilt out of it. So whatever you want to do. This one is interesting. It's a lot of the same thing. But what I did was I show you how I mix it up so I get just random blocks. So that's the fun part. But anyway, let's get started. I do have links down below if you like the fabrics that you see or if you want to join the quilt along. I do have those links down below. And hit subscribe on the channel if you want to keep up to date on how this quilt along goes for me or any of the other things I'm doing. And head over to my website, canaryquilts.com. You can sign up for our newsletter, and you know, I send out free patterns and free updates and everything else. So let's get started. I was putting this video together and found out that I somehow lost all the video of these 2 blocks that I did. So I don't have any video of putting these blocks together, but they aren't that hard at all. So this one's just, it's really like a churn dash block, except the corner's a little different here. It's got 3, usually a churn dash has a half square triangle as the whole square. This one has 4 of them. So it's not too hard. It's a pretty cool block. I like the way it looks. And then the Birds in the Air block here is obviously, I wouldn't say it's not hard, it's just 36 of the same thing going on here. So what I did is I made all my blocks. So I had 36 of these blocks and I threw them into a bin, a little bin I had, and then I just pulled them out randomly and started putting 2 together at a time. Then once I had the 2 together, so I had piles of 2 blocks sewn together, then I would randomly pull those out and sew 2 more blocks to them and then just iron them in the same direction. So that's how I did this, so that I wasn't bored and that I could just have kind of a random block going on. The way that I lined it up, I made sure that I had 3 rows ironed in one direction and the other 3 ironed in the other direction. So that's how I did it. I just threw them, all the little squares, into a bin, and I pulled them out randomly and put them together. So it's a very random pattern of blocks. But anyway, I don't have these. I just have the Batty Bat block that you're going to see. And that's the bonus block. So back to the regularly scheduled program. Okay, to start the Batty Bat free bonus block for the Midnight Moon quilt along. I've already gotten started. I got my pieces cut. It's pretty much squares and strips. And then she had us sew these gray pieces to these black pieces. Each one of the grays going up in size. So we're going to take all these rows or strips we just built and we're going to sew them together, and then we're going to sew this black piece to the top of it. Okay, I got all my pieces sewn together, and what she wants us to do next is to mark 2 1/4 inches in from the top. So there's 2 1/4, and then 2 1/4 up on this side, which is really that seam right there. So to that second seam, and then we literally go from that line to that line and chop it off. Let me get a ruler here. So there's my mark. There's my mark. There's my mark. Let's get it back lined up. So we're going to chop this section off. Okay, so 2 1/4 from the top right corner over to here, 2 1/4 from the bottom left up, that's there, and then make your marks and cut from that line to that line. Okay, I'm to the part where we're gonna make the bat face and ears. So obviously the pattern at this point isn't correct, because if I sew these two together, it's not gonna be the same size as this. And I've seen other people, look out Snibs, look out baby. And I've seen other people who have made this a wider strip, but what I'm gonna do to make it look like hers, as you can see, hers has like, it's cut off right here. And if I were to sew this on at 1/4 inch, it would just be pointy ears. Put this down to 1 inch, and that will give me, with the strip on top, a 1.5 inch piece. And it'll make it so the ears aren't right next to each other. So let's get this cut to 1 inch. Okay, so I've cut it off like that, and now I'm going to sew, look out honey, I'm going to sew my little 2.5 by 1 inch piece to this, and I should have a 1.5 inch piece that matches these. Okay, so that looks more like hers. So now I'm going to sew these two sides to this, and then we'll have our strip. Okay, so that's how I'm choosing to do it right here. My bat just has smaller ears. Okay, so let's move on. We need to cut this on the diagonal to make 2 triangles. And then we are going to put it together like this. So I'm going to get this sewn. Okay, there's my other corner piece right there. And we need to center it and align it with the center of this and sew it on. So where's our center? Just mark it with that. Where's our center here? Pretty much right there on that seam. So we'll line it up like that. And get this sewn and get it trimmed. And so from here, we have a funny looking block, but we need to trim it up to 8.5 inches. There we go. We'll do some squaring up to 8.5 inches. Line up my diagonal from corner to corner at 8.5 inches on the edges. And not much trimming over there. And then we'll turn it. And we can line it up on our 8.5 inch marks. and trim the side. And there we got a cute little bat block. It's the bonus block to the Midnight Moon QAL. Turned out super cute. And she does show you how to use it in a whole quilt, or you could just make a pot holder or something out of it if you wanted to, or you could incorporate it into the Midnight Moon QAL if you want to. But yep, super cute.